Hi guys, we've got Brandon Polley here from a top 8 second place finish at the Chelmsford Regional. What deck did you play?
So this is literally just Gabe Netz's list, his base deck, and I've made like a couple changes, but yeah, we just wanted to shout off to people that might not have seen it. So basically shout out to Gabe Netz and the Disciples and all of them, because he basically came up with the deck.
Yeah. Cool.
So,
right.
So to start, for hand traps, 3 Ogre, 3 Ash, 3 Brown, 3 Veiler, and then a Nib and a Lancia.
Yeah.
So the best thing about most of the hand traps is they're just tuners to just normal summon to do like Hulk combo and stuff like that. So I think these are the best ones. Like Ogre's really good against like Fateful and stuff. Ash is just good generic. Bell can hit the Water Enchantress and some other stuff like DP Engrave. And then Veiler's good like all around. It's not amazing as it was before, but it's still good.
Yeah.
And then the one off Nib and the Lancia. I'm still playing Lancia, but I'm also maining the Scythe. So that's like the one change that I made. So I'm maining the Scythe to get off the Dagda when I go first, turn 1. But I'm also just maining the Lancia in case it comes up too. And then
if you end on Dagda, you get
yeah,
Lancia,
you can get both of them.
Yeah.
And then the Nib is just because I don't know. It's because that's what Gabe was playing.
Yeah. The tuners are good though. If you can't use the effect of a normal summon monster because of the Adventurer package, so it doesn't matter which one it is.
And then for the Souls engine, it's just this. It's really good. I really like the prep with the Soul. So if you open 2 of them, you can just get rid of the second one with prep. I don't think you need more than 2 Souls, 2 Illusion, because you can send it off the first one with Souls, and then if you do need to keep it in hand, you don't get that out of Herald, but it doesn't come up that much anyway. So yeah, I think this is good. I don't think you could maybe play another prep, maybe, but I think it's good how it is.
Nice deck.
Then all the adventure stuff. So just the standard 3 of these, and then the Draco back is just really good. Like this card is so good.
It's insane.
Like the adventure cards. This is my first time playing them, and they just every single card in them is just so amazing. If you open
the discard even as well for Fateful,
if you open right and you're going second, like you don't really care. Like you're probably just going to win the game because you just.
And if you open the equip, send it off the Souls, draw, and then the equip and re-equip.
The Souls and the equip is really good because Souls is just really good because you just if you have Adventure plus the Souls, you just get a draw 2 because you just send Fateful and then you send Draco. But because you're playing 2 Fateful and 2 Griffin, it means that your follow-up is like really strong. Like you don't care about getting rid of your first Griffin. And then if you have like if there's an Enchantress Engraved that you mill it, or you just have an extra one, next turn when you Aramisa again, you get to set another Fateful and nobody expects it, and then you can just like Griffin, like add another Griffin again, or add the Enchantress to like summon.
Yeah, because it feels bad to draw Fateful because it's free, but like the card by itself is still really strong.
Yeah, like opening Fateful is almost the same as opening Rights.
Yeah.
So if you open like Fateful and like Griffin, it's basically the same. So you don't really care. So yeah, the Adventure engine is very strong. And then for the Rose Dragon, just the 3 Red Rose and the Rocks and the Basil. This engine is really cracked. You summon it off out, start Synchro, and you get like 3 extra bodies for no reason. So yeah, I do this literally almost every game. Like I think it was every other game. But yeah, it is what it is. Sometimes you're going to draw bricks. And then DP. One game, I milled both of these off Chaos Ruler, so I'm never activating Chaos Ruler ever again because it was the worst time of my life.
Do you play it for its summon effect or for its graveyard effect?
You mainly just play it to like resurrect, but sometimes, the main reason I thought is, sometimes you don't need the Creation Resonator that you search off the Cupid, because you normally go Cupid into Chaos Ruler. Because Cupid's mandatory, you have to go Chainlink 1 Cupid, Chainlink 2 Chaos Ruler, so you can mill the Resonator. But like, when I did that, I didn't care about milling the Resonator, like I didn't need the extra extender. So I was like, it would be fine. And then I milled 2 Destiny, and then it was really hard to scythe them. And then I tried to scythe them, and I didn't have the extra negate, so he just dropletted me. So that was not fun.
No.
But yeah, DP is completely correct, and I'm very happy that it's a card. And then Fever Shooter, it's basically the same as Griffin Rider. Like it's really good because you can just banish it with a Brave token. It makes like going second even if you get Scythe. Like if you open this and like it's like you break half the board because with this Draco back, attack over something with a token, like it's really strong.
Like banish from hand as well, like it's just good.
It's a free summon.
Same going first.
It's a free summon and it's level 7, so like everything about this card is just completely correct. And then for spells, 3 E-Tele for the ogres, and then you can also summon Gamma if you're like going into game 2 and game 3, because it means that your E-Teles aren't dead. Because sometimes you want to side out ogre because it's not good, but it means if you side in Gamma, it still means that you have a target for E-Tele.
Yeah.
It's not as good because ogre being a level 3 sometimes comes up to make like an arc light or something.
But it still helps for help.
Yeah, it still just makes out, so it's still fine most of the time.
Yeah.
And then Small World, this card's really good. I only opened it twice, which is a very, very good thing because I don't really know the lines, but it's really not as difficult as it seems, because if you open like most of the monsters in here, like the hand traps, they all have 0 attack, so you can go like hand trap to like souls to like Red Rose Dragon because it's a dark and that's the only thing they share.
There is a calculator that exists somewhere, isn't it? So we can put that in the description.
Gabriel Netz has the calculator that he made, and he also has, there's also Google Docs with it, but it's not as complicated as it might seem. There's a lot of easy links in this deck, so yeah. And then 3 Droplet, basically mandatory this format. You're playing 60 cards, so you don't see it as much, but it's still, like, if you see it, like, you pretty much win the game, because the cards is correct. And you have so many free discards with this deck, like, all the adventure stuff, like, for shielders, there's so much stuff that you can just discard that you don't care about. And then 1 Foolish, like, I don't really see this, but it's still good. It gets you into, like, the Enchantress stuff. It's just a spare Enchantress, and sometimes you can send, like, one time I had to, when I milled both Fusion Destinies, I had to Foolish Burial, send Scythe, and then Baron someone back the Scythe. So it's not bad. It's really good, but I don't really see it. So
yeah.
And then for all the bricks, well, not really bricks. This is basically an extender, but it's just a one-off. Like, you don't really see it that much, but it's still good to just make Hulk and maybe Yazi if you're going second. But games 2 and game 3, most of the time I just like sided out Mare because I'd rather see a hand trap, because you're playing more hand traps on the side, so I'd rather just not see this in my opening hand, or like not care about making a Yazi and then just have an extra hand trap in my deck. Yeah, these are for the combo. I think I made a Rorodon once. Like, it doesn't come up a lot, but it's still really good to have. Creation Resonate is just your Cupid target. Snow is really good. You send off Riser. I think I used it like maybe once or twice, but it's just a really good option. Mare obviously for Yazi. Shrew does an extender, and then the Scythe. The main reason I play Scythe is because we were testing, like last night or a couple of days ago, we were testing Cult Wing, because maybe if you just make Hulk to go into Auroradon, there's not really much you can do. You can make like one Savage, but you're testing out Cult Wing. And then when I printed off my deck list, I realized that I'm not playing Cult Wing anymore. So I was just like, what else can I put in? And I was like, if I put in Scythe, it makes my game 1s a lot easier. And if I don't know what I'm doing, because this is my first time playing the deck, I can just Scythe people.
Yeah.
So,
and in weird ways, if you brick but just have a way into Dagda Verte, then you've won anyway.
One game I just had like Fusion Destiny Scythe, and it's just like, it's fine. You still win the game because you just Scythe them.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's 60 cards. I don't think there's anything I'd change with the main. I think it's still really good. Gabriel Netz is very good at building decks. And then for extra, so it's mostly the same. So the one change is, so you have the Monk for the Shooter, obviously, and then you have the Link Spider. So he was playing Access Code, but in his profile he said that Access Code didn't really come up a lot. And like, when I was playing it, I realized that it doesn't either. Like, normally you need Access Code to kill people, but all the monsters in this deck are like pretty big anyway. Like, your artifacts are big if you summon them and they stay. Your like Synchros are big, like Baron's big, DPE is big. Griffin Rider's big, the Token's big. Like, you don't really have a problem killing people, but sometimes if you like brick or something, or you want to change like the tokens off Mare or like the Brave token to like make a Verte or something, you can just get rid of it and then Link Spider. So yeah, I don't really think you need an access code. Maybe it's still good, but yeah, I think I really like Link Spider. And then Hulk, Predaplant. This was just basically always something Red Rose, because that card is just bonkers and you just synchro and then just make anything. And then Dark. I didn't actually use this. because I didn't really play anyone that was playing DP, but in theory it's really good.
Go in second, get their Verte.
Yeah, and even if they pop it, you can add like a red rose if you haven't gone through it, or like a souls. Like there's good targets for this too. And then the Auroradon, I only used it a couple of times, but it's still necessary to have. The Synchros, the Cupid, and the Herald. Like I said before, like you don't really care if you like mill the creation sometimes, but sometimes you don't want a casual effect. But either way, this card is just really good to link climb, especially that you can make it a 7 with Red Rose, so you can just like memo token and do stuff with it. So, and then Herald's really good because like before, you can if you negate or something. Or it just leaves the field, you can add the illusion for Magician Souls next turn.
And they can't droplets whilst it's on the field.
If you have this and you scythe them in their standby phase, they basically can't do anything because if they go to, they can't send anything from hand, so that they wouldn't have a monster that you couldn't negate the droplets with. So even if they go like E-Telly and then droplets chain the E-Telly off the field, you can just go Herald, negate, and then they just lose because you scythe them. And then Riser, Yazi for 7s. This basically just summons Merma. I didn't really use it going second because I said I like side out the Merma for hand traps. And then Riser is just really good. Send Snow, send Scythe if you need to like Baron summon it. And then in their turn you can like do this. If you sent a Scythe, you can do this and Chaos Roll it into like Baron if you didn't have it. Because you shuffle back the Baron and then you can make Baron again. So this is like these two guys are really good. And then Savage, Ruler, and Baron. Baron I summoned like almost every game because it's protection and like the revive effect comes up quite a lot. Because if you Lancia people, one guy I Lancia'd and then I used a negate on Baron and then it went to my turn and I just like Baron summoned back Lancia. So for his turn I can just Lancia him again, that was fine. Chaos Rule is like really good because you can get a free card off it most of the time, but I never summon Savage. I don't know if I'd play anything else in this, but I feel like there might be some boards or some hands that you can like, you want to have an extra negate instead of the Chaos Ruler. So I think I'm still going to keep it. But yeah, I don't, it might be access code because maybe you already have enough negates.
It still helps for 80k because it gains attack when it equips.
Yeah, and if you send a Snow, your Riser becomes level 3, and then your Scythe is level 5, so you can Riser and Scythe into the Savage. So if you have a Link Engrave, you can get a negate on their turn as well. So it's probably still good. And then DV, a very strong card.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't think there's anything I'd change. Maybe the Savage, but I still think it has enough application to be good.
Yeah.
So side for hand traps, we played 2 Lancia, 2 Nib. I don't really side in Nib a lot, but it's still, there's quite a lot of decks that, because you play so many hand traps after siding, like if you side in these and then the Gammas,
it works well in conjunction with other stuff.
Yeah, so you can like Nib, like Veil them or like Nib Gamma them, so that basically breaks any board that they try to make. So I still think these are really good. Lancia obviously very strong. And then Gamma is very, very strong. Going second is probably like the best one you can open, apart from like Lancia against like Brave PK or something. So yeah, I think I'd still keep playing that. And then 1 token collector. I side it in quite a lot because there's a lot of decks that just like make tokens, like even Brave you can side it in.
A lot of decks are making the Mecha Phantom Link, and a lot of decks
like if
it doesn't matter what deck they're playing.
Any combo deck, you just side this in against it too. I played against last round. I played against the deck that just like plays like Gadget, like the Cyber Link deck that just makes DP with stuff, and I sided in against that because they normally summon like 2 or 3 tokens and then you just collected them and then they can't keep playing, so and then they can't make like Dagda DP. But yeah, this is just really good to send off the Riser against like a better Snow target against some decks.
Yeah.
And then for back row removal, I side in all this. This, because I moved the Scythe to the main, I had an extra spot, so I was really debating whether I put in Cosmic or Lightning Storm, because I was kind of scared. I didn't want to play against like Eldritch or something, and then like not have enough spell trap removal, because against Eldritch, I think you'd rather have a Lightning Storm than this.
Yeah.
But
you can at least Cosmic a Scythe.
Yeah, this has more overlap into like the better decks and the decks more people are playing, because I think most people are playing like Brave stuff, so this has like more overlap and then against like Scythe and stuff. So yeah, the deck, I think the deck is like, the deck is insanely fun. I think it's probably the most fun I've had, at least recently, playing a deck. And it's also like just really strong as well. Like even if you're going second, because you can side in more hand traps like game 2 and game 3, you can side in a lot more hand traps. And I normally take out like a lot of the bricks like Creation Resonator because you don't really need it. You just put in hand traps, so I'm more likely to be able to break their board. So
there's a lot of decision trees.
Yeah, there's a lot of things you can normally think about, and there's a lot of things that you can do. Like it's just a really fun deck to play. It's not like super linear.
Cool.
So yeah.
Right. Any shout outs?
Shout out again to Gabriel Netz, who's very good at building decks, and his decks are very fun. Shout out to the Disciples. Shout out to the team. Yeah, I think that's about it.
Cool. Right. Thank you very much, Polly. Cheers.